up? What's up, everybody, and welcome to Urban World Talk Live. Gotta put my headphones on here so I can hear myself a little bit better. There we go. Urban World Talk Live. What's happening, you guys? We're back. We've been off for a week, or 2 weeks. Back with you. Glad to be back. So glad to be back. Glad to have you all with us tonight. While we're here, I want everybody that's watching, if you do me a favor when we're doing it, we just want to double check and make sure y'all can all hear us loud and clear. So if you do hear us, let me know in the comment section. Give me a like. Give me something. Let me know. Let me know you can hear me loud and clear if you can hear me. I am Terry Youngman, by the way, and along with my co-host, Mr.
Anthony Toomer.
That's it. He's in the building as well. We are here. We want to have some fun with you guys. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, but we want to make sure y'all hear us loud and clear. So, she said she can hear us, so we're good to go. See to go. Toombs, how you doing, man?
I'm good, baby. How you doing?
Man, you know me, man. I'm good, man. Just moving and grooving, and glad to be up with you guys, able to talk about some stuff. It's been a long couple of weeks. Had some things come up. Everything good? We good?
Oh yeah, everything's going good, baby. You know what I'm saying? Just been coaching and hanging with the family. Getting settled in the new house and all that, man. We just doing things. Doing big things.
Settling down, doing big things like we should. You guys, you are joining us once again, Urban World Talk Live. We want to thank you guys for joining us. And when you do, leave a comment, a like, and help us share, grow the content so we can get more people involved with the discussions as we go on. Today, we got a show today, man. We are talking about gender roles and relationships. Now, this is something that we have been kind of playing with in other topics, but it's been a big discussion that I've had off camera with a few people that I'm very close to. Toomer, we've had some conversations with this, and we want to kind of break down what exactly were the traditional gender roles and relationships, meaning the relationships as far as significant others, couples, relationships, marriages, in that sense. What were the traditional roles and how far they have come?
Shifted, changed, just how they affect and how they affect each other in today's relationships, you know what I'm saying, and how they differ from maybe when we were growing up, or maybe how maybe we do things versus how our kids do things, or how our grandparents did things. We're going to talk about it all, so we're going to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, we want to talk about where it's come from, where it is now, and possibly where it's going, where we see it going. And we want to get all you guys' opinions on that too, because things aren't the same now. We want to dive into that a little bit and kind of explore what that is, and what that means for everybody in relationships, because I think that's a very, very interesting discussion to have. One thing that has been interesting to watch over the last couple of days is a brand new show called Swarm. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it yet, too. You said you haven't checked it out yet.
You know me, I don't be watching TV like that. It take. I'm one of them people, man. Like it'll be half of a season or like 2-3 seasons down the road, and then I'll jump into it. Be like, okay, let me finally check this TV show out. I never jump on TV shows when everybody's like, oh, it's the hot new TV show.
You gotta wait till it becomes a little bit more part of the.
Bro, listen, I'm not gonna even lie to you, man. I'm a single dad, bro. Like true single dad, man. And I got 3 athlete boys, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I follow them around.
Yeah.
So when I do finally get a chance to sit down and get in front of a TV, I'm probably playing my PS5 for 30 minutes and then I'm off to bed or something like that, because I just don't have time to really watch TV like that. You know what I mean? So I normally will watch movies or something like that when I finally do get some chill time. But yeah, so normally it takes me, man, seasons later to jump on new TV shows. I just don't have the time.
Right. Well, there's one the one I was talking about, the Swarm show that's on right now. You might actually want to jump into this one, though, because they had some stuff on there, man.
I've been hearing about it. It's been all over social media. So
it's been all over social media.
I'll probably jump into season 2.
You might. Again, let's finish the conversation before you make that judgment, because you might want to throw it on there. All I'm saying is Chloe Bailey. I don't know if you know the singer Chloe Bailey. You know Chloe Bailey. You know Chloe Bailey. I don't know. We got a shot of Chloe there. We got to get her on there just get there. She is, Chloe Bailey. There she is, and that's actually a picture from her. That's her regular picture that you saw on the left, and then on the right you saw a picture of her from the actual show. So on the show, this show is it's been directed by Donald Glover, and what it is the Swarm it's kind of loosely, you can tell they're kind of talking about like the beehive for like Beyonce, but they're not saying it. They're not calling it the beehive. In the character that's the superstar is a very Beyonce like superstar. So I think they're definitely doing a satire about fandom.
Okay.
And anyway, long story short, Chloe Bailey is related to the main character of the show, and in the very first scene, or in the first episode, very early on, she has a very explicit sex scene with Desmond Idris' character. Desmond Idris, if you guys know from Snowfall, he plays the main character. Snowfall, he plays.
That brother's doing big things.
Yeah, and that sex scene made a lot of waves because she's such a popular musician, and it actually went viral. People have been talking about it.
Yeah. It's been going crazy. I had never heard of the show, but this sex scene is all over everybody's mind. Right. I don't understand why, but let's talk about it.
Well, look, she's a very beautiful woman.
Okay.
Very beautiful woman.
I agree.
And
agreed. But a grown woman at that, right? She is grown.
She's grown.
Okay.
Barely. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think she's in her 20s. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
But she's grown. She's definitely grown.
Okay.
Oh, able to make her own decisions.
Okay.
The thing is, a few years ago, her and her sister, they kind of.
I remember they weren't they like twins or something like that, or
yeah,
or they look a lot alike or something like.
I'm not sure if they're exactly twins.
I know they look a lot alike or something like that.
Yeah, and they Beyonce put them out there, and they
Yep.
The other sister, she was involved in some controversy of her own because Holly Bailey is going to be the Little Mermaid in a few months.
Right. They was hating on her for it. They was hating, bro. You know what's crazy is? Do you know what people used to like? What sailors thought were mermaids?
What was that?
Why people are getting so upset that this little girl's playing a mermaid?
Right.
Do you know that pirates and sailors actually thought manatees, like whales, bro?
Whales.
They thought because whales, manatee whales can mimic human sounds very. They can mimic sound. Right. So they can mimic like human calls. Right.
Uh-huh.
So pirates and sailors, after being out in the sun and being seasick and all that for months at a time, were thinking that manatees were mermaids.
Right.
So the whole world is up in this uproar, right? Because this little girl is playing a mermaid. But, I mean, really, she's playing a fictitious whale, bro. Like, why are y'all so upset, bro? Y'all really need to chill. Like, it's crazy.
They're tripping about that, but you know what that is. You
already know what it is. But of course, they changed their skin complexion and everybody got upset. But I'm just saying, like, that's how silly y'all really are.
Well,
a fictitious thing that don't even exist can't even be black. That's some. You know what I'm saying?
You know they don't want that.
Come on, man.
But also, Lydia said, shout out to Lydia, Terry. You guys joining. Everybody else is joining. Lydia says, man, she's definitely walking a different career path than her sister, the Little Mermaid. Yeah, that's for sure. And she said that she's also 24. Now, Chloe Bailey, though, she went the other way. She's been very provocative in her music videos and really ever since she did a bust down challenge, right? A few years ago. Remember when people were doing the silhouette and the bust down
buddy.
and all that? Oh, yeah. You
buddy.
know that one.
Yeah, buddy.
You made time for that one, right?
Hey, listen, I be on social media now. Listen, I take my little social media break. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know that one now.
Take a little break.
Come on now.
So, ever since that, though, people thought that she's moving a little more provocative. Now the sex scene is like, the big part of that where they thought she was going to be headed and showing a lot more skin and stuff. It's a provocative scene. But, look, I mean.
Did you see it?
I saw it.
How was it?
I mean,
did she play the role correctly?
I mean,
listen, answer the question, brother. Did she play the role correctly?
Hey, look, I don't know how good of an actress she's gonna be in the future, but she was acting in that part.
She did all right.
She did that part very well.
Okay.
She was good.
But here's the thing: she's grown though, right?
She's grown.
Okay, so there we go. In the conversation, right? I mean, not with us, but we just saying, like,
well, it should be. But the thing is, there's a lot of different conversations that are coming up with this. You're seeing a lot of stuff online on social media.
Right.
The discussion is not just about her age and is it appropriate or whatever. I think that a lot of people are going to have, you're either going to be on one side of that or not. You're going to have a problem with it or not. Then the discussion is going for, is she being exploited as a black woman and all of that stuff like that? Because, when a black woman does something, it's not just a woman doing it. It's a black woman. And is the black woman being exploited like that? And then it's also, it's a lot of things about, women in general, having double standards and not being able to do the same things that their male counterparts are. So all of that is going into the conversation and the discussion. A lot of people feeling like her being overexposed as a black woman is a problem. And then they feel like, if she was Taylor Swift or something like that, they wouldn't her people.
She wouldn't have to. She wouldn't have to go through all that. Right. Okay. So first, let's talk about the age thing. I think she's grown. You know what I'm saying? She has the right to be provocative. That's what she wants to do. But you do hear in Hollywood sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Well, we've heard sisters say that they wouldn't be as big as they are if they had not have done this sex scene, or if they had not have done this or shown this part of their body or whatever, right? So I feel bad for her in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Just because we have heard it before. But again, we have yet to see if this propels her career, right? So again, we'll have to watch that closely. I think, hey, if the young lady is getting paid and she made some good money for the scene and she made the decision, you know what I'm saying? I hope that she has a good team around her that's helped guiding her to these decisions. Yeah. But I mean, she's old enough to make them, and I think she has the right. So who are we to judge?
I want to say this. I want to say this. As Terry says, she's making money, and that's their problem. I'm guessing she's referring to people having a problem with her sexuality. Mm-hmm. One thing I will say about this, though, and I do think that the double standard for black women is alive and well
100%,
in this conversation.
100%.
And because one of the main things that I think about, that I see when I see this kind of things, I don't really see sisters getting propelled the same way that white celebrities get in sexual, scandalous, or whatever kind of situations. I don't know too many black women that, became famous just based on their sex, whereas you have Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, and the list goes on and on of women that literally, they got famous in Hollywood, billionaires even.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, think about it like this. Who are the people that are running those lists, those people that are in control of who says this person is the most beautiful person in the world, right? It ain't somebody like us, because 100% says, I guarantee you, if you were to survey 100 black men, right? 100 black men,
right?
And you showed them, and I can't even recall who it is right now this current year, but whoever they said, I think they said, matter of fact, Amber Heard was one of them at one point, was the most beautiful woman in the world.
Yeah.
She ain't never made my top 10 list. I mean, not to say Amber Heard looks bad. She's not a bad-looking woman.
Yeah,
but she's nowhere near my top 10. Neither is Kim Kardashian. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of the women that they say is top 10 ain't nowhere near my top 10. So I think that the obviously the list is a little slanted. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but and that's exactly what I mean when I say, like, I don't feel like the sex scenes, especially in the acting in the movies, propel the black women the same way. Terry says, look how they treated Halle Berry. Now, 100%. Halle Berry's one of the kind of an exception to the rule, as she stands, as I think still to this day, I'm pretty sure she's the only black woman to ever win an Oscar, and the movie that she won an Oscar for, she was taking them back shots just like Chloe Bailey was.
But hold on. But again, I think that's kind of what Terry's saying is, look what she had to do to get there. You know what I'm saying? And it's been shown, factually, that she made more money after she got buzzed down. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. But I think that the difference in that too, though, one thing I feel like people sometimes gloss over, which I feel like, check this out, and help me out if you think I'm off with this. So as black people,
mm-hmm.
you know how it is. We go off the 1% rule, right? So when you black,
hold on. Before we say we go off the 1% rule, tell them what the 1% rule is.
Okay, the 1% rule goes way back to the slave times. It's basically, if you have any black blood in you, whether you mixed with just a little bit of black, a lot of black, whatever, you black. And that's how they would throw you in there. You might could be light enough to be in the master's house and serving, but you weren't one of them.
Well, here's the thing. That's because, I mean, again, once they find out you're part of that you had that 1%, they gonna treat you like the rest of us.
Exactly. So in modern times, obviously things are a little bit different.
Okay.
A little bit. There's still we got a long way to go. But I also feel like, to a degree, that also helps in the opposite direction. For instance, I just brought up, as Terry brought up in the comments, Halle Berry's name. Now, Halle Berry, she very famously took her most provocative role and wrote that, pun intended, all the way to the Oscars and won of Best Actress. Stop, man. Look, man. Look, I'm trying to keep it classy, man. I'm sorry, man.
I didn't say nothing.
Hey, man, look.
I didn't even say nothing.
So she won an Oscar. She won an Oscar with that.
Was it
that
good,
very
was it a
hard
good
role.
ride?
It was a hard role that she took. It was a hard role.
But was it a good ride?
It was. It was. I mean, got rave reviews. So, would you stop? I'm trying to be serious a little bit. I'm trying to. I'm
You
trying to
said
make
it,
this
man.
point, man.
You said it, bro.
Okay, 1%.
Listen, I'm just responding to my partner, brother.
Just respond. I kid. I appreciate the feedback. So Halle Berry won the only black actress to win Best Actress. She's in that 1% role though, so she's even more so because I think she's half and half. So I feel like it was okay to give her an award. Out of all the black women ever to ever do great roles, look at Angela Bassett, should have won an Oscar a couple weeks ago, and they wouldn't give it to her. They gave it to Halle Berry, but I think it's also because she's half. She's not all the way just black, and I feel like if they're gonna give it to one, they don't mind doing it to that. Everybody, same thing with Obama as the president, first black president, also was half white. So I think it's an interesting way to look at that. We accept those people as black in the black community because the 1% rule. But I feel like when they feel like they're being generous and making exceptions, that's the pile they pick from. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I mean, it's evident. Like you said, with the Angela Bassett thing, I think, with black men, I mean, in Hollywood, it's a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying? Right. But for the sisters, yeah, 100%. Like, right. You know what I mean? Yeah, you almost gotta do the Halle Berry. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
And get rolled all the way to the Oscar.
You gotta ride that wave, baby. Ride it all the way. Hey, here's one of the things that we're talking about this is you look at a woman like Chloe Bailey, very beautiful woman,
100%.
And you look at the way she's built. You know what I mean? I think that she looks pretty natural. I'm not sure if she is. I can't be for sure, but she looks natural. Or whatever.
Listen,
a lot of women
that's
pay
a whole
good
other
money to
conversation, man. Because
look like these women.
That's a whole other conversation. Because I can't tell sometimes these days. Listen, you got to really be.
That's why I said I said she looks. I'm not sure. She looks like she's natural.
Right.
But the thing about sisters, what makes it tough? You talk about these roles, right? Or you talk about the list the imaginary list that's in Hollywood that the most beautiful women are always made up of, or whatever. If you take some of these sisters and put them next to these other ones, they'll blow them out of the water.
100%.
So that's why they don't get the roles and the love like that. You know what I mean? And so it's a shame that, a sister like Chloe Bailey, she tries to go out. She's trying to make a name for herself. She's trying to be comfortable with her own sexuality and stuff like that. And she gets called all of this. And it be our own people, too, sometimes, too. That's what the sad part is.
All the time. Yeah, I mean, we are our hardest critics. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about it is if you look at a lot of the comments and a lot of the stuff, that is mostly us. You know what I'm saying? But she's trying to make a name for herself, and unfortunately, in an industry that really ain't gonna give her no magic key. You know what I'm saying? Even with her stardom in a whole nother light. You know what I'm saying? In the music industry, they're not just gonna give her a key and say, here's the key. Walk in and start making your money and getting these Oscars and getting these awards. No, you're not gonna do it.
Right.
You're gonna have to lay on your back. And unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the way the industry is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, at least she did a beautiful job at it.
Well, and the thing is, the role, the part is not the longest part. She's out there. But the thing is, like, it's a risk. You do that, and you are going to get perceived a certain way. But I think that she might have been ready for that. So,
but here's the thing, I think when you're in front of millions, that's just part of the game. Nobody's gonna like every single thing you do. Nobody's gonna like everything single thing you say. Nobody's gonna like every single role you take. You know what I'm saying? You take the risk. You know what I'm saying? You take the money and you say, hey, I'm gonna hopefully there's gonna be enough people that like it that we're gonna survive. And as much as I hear about the show and as many people that are talking about the scene, she did her job. So get paid, young lady, get paid.
Yeah, well, you guys let us know what you think about Chloe Bailey and everything. Terry says, come on, we don't treat our people with that kind of love. Look at how people talk about Viola Davis.
Uh-huh.
Next time, maybe elaborate a little bit more on what exactly you mean by that, because I think I might know what your point is, but I don't want to.
No, I agree. I think he's kind of saying like I was saying earlier, we are our harshest critic. Unfortunately, we don't stand behind us like we should.
Yeah. Speaking of which, and we're getting ready to move on. But. Oh, like a dark. Oh, he said black people calling her a dark monkey. Well, that's crazy. I wish somebody would say that in front of me. I'm sorry. That kind of stuff. I don't care even when his brothers that say stuff like that. One thing I cannot stand. I don't care what your preference is in life. If you like other stuff outside of black or whatever. I don't like nobody trying to put black women down at all. I can't stand that. That is something else. I can't stand that. Lydia says, I think she's prepared. She prepared us for that. I wasn't expecting that, and when I saw it, I wasn't expecting that, and when I wasn't surprised, and it didn't look bad either. Okay. Yeah, Terry Senior says he can't stand that either. All right, we're gonna move on real quick. I do want to say something about that Oscar, Angela Bassett. We weren't here last week and be able to comment on that. Yo, I do watch the movies. I do the critics and the critic thing with the movies and stuff like that. I saw half of the movies in the Oscars this year because a lot of those were really boring movies. But I did see Everything Always at Once and ended up winning the Best Picture. Mm-hmm. It was a good movie. All right. Angela Bassett should not have lost to Jamie Lee Curtis. Anybody that saw that, I challenge you to give me any one good reason why Angela Bassett should have lost Best Supporting Actress to Jamie Lee Curtis. A lot of people won awards from that movie. Ki Hu Kwan, Michelle Yeoh won the Best Actress, first Asian woman to do it. Mm-hmm. Well-deserved awards. Jamie Lee Curtis was the least part of that movie. I'm sorry. And I like Jamie Lee Curtis. She's great.
Good actress.
You speaking about people that got famous showing her body, go back and watch True Lies. Jamie Lee Curtis. I like Jamie Lee Curtis, but she should not have beat Angela Bassett by no stretch of the imagination. Queen Mother Ramonda, you were robbed. Wakanda forever.
I knew this was coming.
Come on, man.
I didn't see the Jamie Lee Curtis movie, but I did love Angela Bassett.
Yo, man, I'm telling you right now, you watch it 100 times, you ain't gonna think Jamie Lee Curtis was better. Well, moving on along, one of the things that did happen that night at the Oscars, there was an Oscars after party that took place. And you know, for the last couple of weeks, all people keep talking about from the Oscars after party was the former Seattle Seahawks quarterback, Russell Wilson, and more importantly, his wife and maybe commander-in-chief, Ciara,
here we go with
wearing the outfit. I don't know. Look, do we got the outfit? Can we show the outfit, please? Because this is crazy to me. This has been going on for, there it is. You guys can take a look at the outfit there. As you can see Russ sitting there looking like Russ. We all know that confused look that Russ tends to have every now and then. And then Ciara, I mean, there's no other way for me to say it. She's butt naked. I mean, she's butt naked on the red carpet. I mean, let's just keep it real. She got a little bit of dental floss on. She got a little bit of a shower curtain on that's kind of, you know, the plastic one, not the main shower curtain, the plastic one behind it. She's got that on, and you can can see everything. You're seeing everything on Ciara right now. Okay, you see it right now, and people had a problem with it.
She look good.
People had a problem with it. Now, it's been prompting a lot of people to say that she's out of pocket for wearing that. What kind of a saved woman would wear that? What kind of a good mother would wear that? What kind of a good wife would wear that? And then other people saying stuff like, what the hell's wrong with Russell? Why would you let your woman come out the house like that? I don't know, Tim. What did you think when you saw that, man?
Listen, I'm going to tell you like this. People that said, Russ, why would you let your wife come out the house like that? Ain't never made $20, $30, $40 million. Okay?
Come on now.
Listen, let's talk about it. Listen.
Come on now.
Our level of modesty is a whole lot different than when you making Russell, Ciara money millions, okay? Modesty then is a whole lot different. Fashion to them is a whole lot different, right? Now listen, we can talk about the picture. Russ do look real confused. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to leave my man Russ alone. You know what I'm saying? Listen, he's had a rough year, so I'm going to jump off of Russell real quick, all right? But me personally, I thought Ciara looked good. I really don't personally be caring. I'm not a man to be like, hey, you know, she looked bad. I thought she looked good, right? It's really their relationship, right? Listen, ain't too many men, right, that can really challenge Russell for Ciara, period. Listen, I don't care about how she feel about him, all of that. Listen, he can do things for her that no normal man, right, not even, listen, even most high-value men can't do. So he's not really worried about somebody seeing his woman and be like, oh, let me go knock her because she's out here showing everything. He's not.
So you saying he ain't worried about it?
I don't think he's worried. Listen, why would you be? If I'm Russell Wilson, I'm not worried about it.
Let me see what some of these comments are saying. Like this. Oh, Lydia's going back to the Angela Bassett. She's robbed. She said Jamie Lee Curtis having hot dog hands was a fucking joke. Now Lydia also said Rihanna was wearing an $18 million $1 million belly chain. Okay. Terry doesn't know why people are tripping on Ciara. They need to leave her alone. Lydia said that she looked cheap and trashy, and the stylist should have been fired. That dress was trash, and a naked flesh tone bra and a black underwear. So she had a problem with the look. She didn't have a problem with the statement necessarily. She had a problem with the look itself. So I don't know. Now here's the thing about the whole. You said that Russell can't really be challenged on Ciara. Now, one of the things that I think a lot of people were kind of saying was that might have been the case before the marriage, but now she got married into the money, and she's in there, and I don't think there's much of a prenup on there, so she might go ahead and might be trying to set it up for the next future. I don't know. You think that she out there trying to set traps for the next future?
Listen, man, that man that made her happy. They doing well. I don't see no kinks in the armor. I think they good. I like the dress. I wasn't tripping. I like the look.
Would you this is kind of a stupid question I asked you, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. You
know what I'm gonna say.
But
go ahead.
It has to be asked for the.
Yes.
Would you let your woman go out? Yes. Okay. I will point to the fact that it was a Vanity Fair party. There was a lot of women wearing a lot of freaky stuff. There was a lot of women wearing that.
100%.
And
100%.
there was a lot of women wearing stuff as bad, if not worse, than what Ciara was doing. And they all showed that stuff. Look, one of these things, when people are getting on these sisters all about, about the provocative stuff or whatever that they're wearing and all this stuff, one of the things they're kind of forgetting. Y'all remember Cher coming out butt naked to the premieres?
Yep.
Y'all remember that? Y'all remember Rose McGowan? Y'all
Madonna.
Madonna. Y'all remember all of that?
Anderson.
J-Lo basically had one of the same type of outfits on the green dress. It became iconic. All right? So, hers might have looked better. Again, now if we're talking about the way that the outfit looked, like Lydia said, then maybe you didn't like the way that it looked, and maybe that was the issue. But if you're talking about the sexual nature of it,
we see it all the time. All the time. It's no different than what J-Lo in what's it called did in the Super Bowl.
J-Lo and
Shakira at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So nah.
Terry Senior says they're all hypocrites. Lydia says Ciara does what she wants, and she's been dressing more provocative since she's been with him. So she's saying that maybe her tone is changing. Jared.
But also,
shout out to Jared. He says, hold on real quick. He said, why are we acting like women don't like dressing sexy when you go out? Good point.
Here's the thing. Yeah, I think she has been dressing more provocatively since she's been with him, but she's also got bigger fashion contracts since she's been with him. So she's been doing a lot more fashion things. You know what I'm saying? Way more exposure, and also she's been doing a lot more with bigger designers, right? You know what I'm saying? Since she's been with him. So I think, you know what I'm saying? So you're starting. Oh yeah, definitely 100%. But I also think she's done well on her own as well. You know what I'm saying? She has the makeup line and all of that good stuff. So no hate to see her. I think she looked good.
Well, I've heard people say things like, well, let me look at the comments. Terry Senior says J-Lo. He mentioned the J-Lo dress. We all remember that one. Sita, what's up, Sita? She goes, Little Kim.
Yep,
Little Kim is another one.
100%.
I don't think people would even bat an eye if they seen Little Kim.
Man, listen.
They know she goes crazy.
Man, all times.
Lydia says if he's standing there co-signing with his wife, and they should let them be if he's co-signing. Well, to that, and I always got to point out some of the things that I'm hearing. What's out there in the conversation? People are saying stuff like the way she dressed. Russ looked like he ain't got no control. He don't control her. And then again, another one of the big ones. Again, I go back. I kind of glossed over it real quick, but one of the big ones that people are saying and mentioning is the fact that these are the same people that a week before the Oscars was posting videos of them praise and worship at the church and being all Christian and stuff like that. So what about on that aspect? Is that being hypocritical if you're doing that on the one hand and talking about how you're living a saved marriage and all this other stuff like that, and then in the next week it's bust down at the Oscars.
What does what she's wearing, right? Again, I didn't see any private parts. I mean, I may have seen her butt or whatever. She had her butt out. She had her butt out.
Is that private?
Not really. I mean, don't
half private, kind of.
Hold on. Here's the thing: if you go to the beach, you go to Miami Beach, right? And you and your woman sitting on the beach, are you telling her she can't wear a thong out?
Well, some people wouldn't. So I mean that's a conversation.
But
some people wouldn't.
That's a whole other conversation. But I don't think that has anything to do with religion, right? So I think as a fashion icon, which she has reached fashion icon at this point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it was probably some rich designer who I can't even probably afford his socks. You know what I'm saying? That probably designed the dress. So again, I think it was a nice, fashion statement. Who knows, what if maybe that was a contract. Maybe she got paid to wear that thing. You never know. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know any of these things, so I'm not hating. But I don't think it has anything to do with religion. I think it has to do with modesty. But I don't think, I think that's her choice to be modest or not.
Yeah.
As a fashion icon, I think it's her job to stand out. It's her job to make statements.
Let me see it real quick. Lydia says, it's like people out here being offended for Russell, but he doesn't seem to have a problem with it, so I don't understand why people have such a problem with it. Terry Sr. says people are being hypocrites still, and he says that they are doing the work. And then Jared says, remember when J-Lo wore the green? See, everybody remembers that J-Lo one at the VMAs. I think it was the Grammys, Jared. But it gets people talking, and it's great publicity. So, yeah, and it is great publicity. But, again, it's one of those things like you just said. You said if your wife was at the beach. Now, if you're at the beach, that's a place where you're going to have people that are wearing thongs and stuff like that. So then it becomes a conversation of, are you okay with that? Or is it the time and place? Like, at that party, there was other people wearing stuff like that. So it's kind of to that point, right? So, she's out there, and she's on the extreme end.
Now, here's the thing. Did she go to the supermarket like that?
Right.
Did you see her, picking up the kids from daycare like that?
Right.
Okay, or was, she making a fashion statement at a place where on the red carpet where other men are making fashion statements. Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do. I think honestly a lot of it has to do with, let's just be realistic, with the hate that they get from all the other situations that surround their marriage. The situation with Future, the situation with Ciara dating, having a couple different boyfriends. But I mean, again, all of it's small corny stuff.
Right.
People just used to hate on other people. To me, their marriage, and I've been around them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying how much, but I've been around them and they seem happy to me.
They seem genuine.
They seem genuinely happy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them. Keep doing your thing. Russ seems to be a cool guy and he seems to be a great father, great stepfather to them kids. So
they're not tripping.
If he ain't tripping, I ain't tripping.
You ain't tripping either. Cedar says, what about the power he gains by being able to call his wife the single most photographed person at the after party? All right, that's a point. And Lydia says, great point, Anthony Toomer. She was appropriate for where she was at. All right, you guys, if you got any more thoughts about Ciara, Russ, the whole Oscars dress fiasco, let us know in the comment section. Like and share. You guys give us some of that. We do have to move on because we do. Speaking of Russell and Ciara and the way that their marriage is structured, want to talk about the roles that people play in relationships now. Committed relationships. We're talking about, now again, we went over a list of all different types of relationships. We're talking about one-on-one, the traditional relationships.
We're just going to dive into some general traditional roles.
Traditional roles.
Obviously, different relationships have different, standards and different stuff like that. So.
Exactly. And, there's, and again, no disrespect to any sex, creed, or anything like that.
Again, this is all opinion, no facts. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to how you live your life. This is just how two simple men think. That's all.
That's it. Simple in a certain way. I get you. I get you.
Whatever.
I get what you're saying. All right, so we want to take a look at some of the marriage. I went to a marriage.com and we were looking at some of the traditional roles, the traditional gender roles. And, you can apply this however you want to how relationships are now. That's what we're going to try to take a look at. We're going to look at 11 types of traditional roles and the gender roles of relationships and where they were to where they are now. Now, number one on this list was that the traditional husband and wife roles are usually split between the male being the breadwinner, making the money, and the female as the housewife. This originally came from the agricultural influences where muscles and strength were needed to work the tools. As the professor of economics describes in her article, the origins of traditional gender roles, the beliefs are now shifting as work tools no longer need muscle and strength in most parts. So that was one of the old ones. The woman being the housekeeper, the mom, the one that's in there caretaking with the kids, and the man being out there working in the fields or whatever else, coming home to his wife afterwards. Mm-hmm. So that clearly is not the case anymore. Women have a lot more responsibilities. And, what do you think about that? And how do you see that as being positive in the way that it's changed and progressed, or not?
Well, listen, I I think traditionally they may have worked. You know what I'm saying? But with inflation and the way things cost a lot more nowadays, I think it's honestly one. I think it's healthy for the relationship. If a woman helps carry some of the weight financially, simply because it gives a lift off the man's shoulders. Men tend to carry a lot on our shoulders anyway. So I think when it comes to having a partner that's willing to say, hey, maybe again, I'm not judging how anybody lives, right? Maybe, you carry 90% and she carries 10, 75, 25, whatever it is, or maybe she just helps out when she can. But I think it's healthier for a relationship when you have a partner that's willing to help carry some of that load. So, and we can get into something just simple as financial facts, right? The average man in America, or excuse me, the average adult, right, in America. Well, actually, we'll talk about the men. Just the average man. The average man in America makes about $35,000, right? About $35,000 a year. Okay. Most women, right? If you do it, I think they did a study on a podcast. I can't remember what podcast I was, but they said most women are looking for a man that makes about 70,000. Okay. Now here's the caveat. King 5 News just did a study in Washington State. If you make $100,000, right? And again, I'm not saying I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm broke, or not, right? But if you make $100,000, it is to be considered with the cost of living and all of that stuff, and how expensive it is to live in Washington State. You make you honestly make about 49,000, right? So that's about a good $14,000 split. So if you're the average man in the state of Washington and you make $35,000, you're considered broke, right? Yeah. And that's not really a broke living, but I mean, just think about that. So if the average,
just in a big picture,
right?
Big picture.
So if most women are looking for a man that makes 70,000, and if I make 100,000 in the state of Washington, I only really make about 50. I'm not really considered a high value man, right? But anywhere else, I'm considered a high value. You see what I'm saying? If I make close to 100 or 100 more. So I think having a partner that can carry some of that load is almost a must, depending on where you live, because that wage gap is huge, bro. Think about that. That's a $51,000 gap. You know what I'm saying? You better have some help,
right?
Otherwise, you're gonna have a real stressful life.
Well, that's true. But so with that being said, though, with that being looked at as the traditional roles that men and women used to play, the man working, the woman being at home, doing the cooking, doing the raising of the kids, and that whole thing, do you feel like that is something that is something that should be potentially shot for, if you can get that way, to do it that way? Because
I'm good. I'm good off all that. Like, nah, I'm good. Again, Lydia said something up there. She said, women want careers to now have passions outside of just being a wife and a mother. Like, I think I intellectually, I want a person that wants to be more than just sit at home and just take care of the house. I would need a partner who strives for more, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm a hustler at heart, right? No matter how you get it, whether it's legal, illegal, I'm a hustler at heart. You know what I'm saying? So I need a partner that can hustle just as hard, if not harder, because that's motivation to make me want to go get more. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want somebody that's okay with just having that one side, right? Yeah. Washington State did another study. They said where, you know what I'm saying, if you don't have at least a 2-person income, you're, again, considered just barely above the poverty line. If you live anywhere, if you wanted to live anywhere except, outside of the city, you better have a 2-person income, right? Because it's just too expensive to live out here. So, I don't think that I could be with somebody that didn't have some ambition, to go out and get more. My mom, you know what I'm saying, even when she was with my dad before, they got separated and all of that, she never was a stay-at-home wife. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Let me look at some of these comments real quick. Terry said that you're right above the poverty line, most likely, with where you're at with when you were talking about the money, and what the average person makes. She says, if the system still works, Lydia's saying, if the system still worked, then the roles would still work. However, things are different now. And she said, so being outside of the house and taking on a masculine role more requires the men to step in and take more of the feminine roles that they need to and be able to evolve with the times. If I can go out and bring in the extra work and 100K and still be a wife and mother, then why wouldn't I? Let me.
Amen.
Let's go ahead.
Amen to that.
Good point, Lid. Let's look at some of the other comments, some of the other traditions here. So, number 2, tradition. The women cook at home. So the traditional gender roles in the marriage usually mean that the women do the cooking, cleaning, food, and food shopping. It is assumed that they are naturally drawn towards cooking and are better suited for this responsibility. The gender roles is based on the traditional notion that women are more proficient at most matters related to taking care of the household, although interestingly, men still dominate the chef profession in the food industry. So what do you think about that? Women were traditionally the ones that are cooking and cleaning, and they were more suited to the role, and that's the tradition.
I'm gonna sit up on this one. I'm gonna call BS.
You sitting up? Why are you sitting up?
I'm gonna call BS.
Where's the BS? What are you saying?
As a culinary student, I went to culinary school right out of high school. I'm gonna call BS.
Mm-hmm.
I've been cooking since the age of 4. My father was a chef.
Right.
He taught. My mother didn't actually teach me how to cook. She taught me tips. She's always been there for me to help me out. But the person that drew me to the kitchen was my father. Mm-hmm. Eddie Toomer Senior, Eddie Toomer Jr. rest his soul, was the one that gave me my passion and my love for cooking. So that I've never believed in the gender role of the woman needs to be the cook. Now, cleaning, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. Listen, I will. Listen. Now, I don't agree that it's the gender role. Right. I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
Just because, again, I'm not really one that plays in the whole. Hey, you need to be doing this. I need to be doing that.
Right.
I don't. That's corny.
Right.
Excuse me. But as far as like the cooking and all of that stuff, man, that's totally BS. Because again, I was drawn to the kitchen. It wasn't something like, my dad was like, hey, come here, I'm gonna teach you how to cook.
Yeah.
No, I was, Dad, what are you doing? Can I watch you?
Yeah.
And so for me, it was something that drew me in. I've always wanted to be in the kitchen. And for most of the relationships I've been, I probably hey, no disrespect to the women I've been in relationships with, but most of the time I'm probably the better cook.
Well, see, and again, that's a very specific case. I know I've known male cooks, and that's usually how that works. If you're the cook, you're the cook. They're the one that cooks better. For one, I would be somebody who would be the other way. Like I'm not the cook. I can make stuff. You know what I mean? I know how to put that. I know how to turn that up.
That brother said, "Listen,
you know?
I can make them good scrambled eggs, brother.
Hey, look,
I know how to season some scrambled some eggs.
I can scramble some.
Come
eggs
on now,
too
talk to him now. Talk to him.
But the thing is, I've always been where I am weak, you are strong, and so I'm gonna come in. There's the things I do. I do more of the traditional guy stuff, and I think that my wife is definitely more on that along those lines. Let's see right here. Lydia says, cooking and serving your man in my house is a way of showing my love. I want a man to feel catered to. That's one of my love languages. Acts of service. I don't want to have him. I don't want him to have to. I'm also better at them.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I like it.
Lydia says, Terry says your dad cooks.
So how you only know how to make scrambled eggs, man? If your dad cooked, brother.
Ask him. Why didn't
tell me? I'm talking to you.
Why didn't teach me how to cook?
I'm talking to you, brother. What's going on, man?
Why didn't teach me how to cook?
Look, Senior, what's going on, brother?
He was in the service. He had to serve the guys in the barracks and all of that kind of stuff like
what
that.
What that got to do with you, man? Why wasn't you in the kitchen behind them, brother? What's going on, man?
That ain't the point of this exercise.
Come on now.
That ain't the point of this exercise.
See,
I told you I can make.
Top ramen.
I can make the hell out of any flavor. What you want? What you want?
I need some teriyaki chicken.
Come
on, man. Listen. Come on, listen.
Teriyaki shrimp. I am Oriental.
I am a top ramenologist.
All of it. All of them. All right, let's get to the list real quick. Back to the marriage.com. All right, number 3, chivalrous men. So traditional relationship roles include that the man protecting the woman. That can be anything from carrying things for her to opening doors. You might also see men walking on the roadside to protect the women from cars. The notion that men don't cry is based on this notion that men are chivalrous and stronger than women, both physically and mentally. Thus, they are seen as the protectors and caretakers of the women. Anthony Toomer, what do you think of that?
All right, I'm gonna have to kind of agree with that one, but let's chop it up a little bit. All right,
let's chop it up.
Let's chop it up a little bit. Yes, I do think the men should walk on the outside of the street always. That's just a natural thing. Do I think the man should be the protector? Always. You know what I'm saying? I think if the situation goes down, my woman, no, get out the way. I got it. The opening doors thing. let's dive into that one.
Let's dive into it.
If we're walking into the store, yep, I'm gonna grab the door. If we're walking to the car, I might not. I might just walk around or go get in my car. I might grab your door. Again, that one's iffy, right?
Right.
But again, if we're walking together and we're walking into the house or walking into something like that, then yeah, I might grab the door. Carry the grocery bags, all that good stuff. You know, I'm gonna get it, but can I get a little bit of help?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So is there any of that you disagree with on?
Nah,
not in that one.
No, but okay, but I'm not gonna say that I think a dude should be rushing to like grab every single door. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, your date's coming out, run up to the door, grab the door, all that good stuff. I'm not gonna go there. But everything else, I'm pretty much with you.
All right, let me we got to breeze through these. I want to get some of these comments. Terry says your dad cooks. Or he said me and your mother shared the role. That is true. They both did. Cedar says, "Boo, women can protect just as much." Now, Cedar, that I appreciate your passion and where you're coming from with that, but that ain't true, Cedar. Women cannot protect as much as men. I'm sorry, not like that. Now, maybe if you're talking about we carrying weapons and on that level, but if something just pops off out of nowhere and you guys get caught slipping, you don't want your man to step up and be the one to take charge in that situation.
But here's the thing, though, right?
I don't know.
But hey, I'm gonna hit you with something. Let's say your woman has situational awareness. She noticed the situation. She carries just like you. She gets off the first shot. I'm not upset.
But that's weapons. I mean, if you're talking about weapons,
right?
Like
but,
that.
But again, I mean, in a physical situation, obviously the man is going to dominate. In most physical altercations. But I still want my woman to be able to throw a little bit of hands. You know what I'm saying?
My thing wasn't that women can protect too. It was
they can.
Just
I'm not saying
as
they can't.
much. It was the statement of women can protect just as much. That's not true. Because if you guys are at a bar and dudes come up and start swinging, I'm sorry, most women ain't gonna protect as much as the guy would in that situation. I think that you still need a man in those moments. Y'all walking down the street.
Listen, dude, 6'4", and he in the bar.
Come on, man.
He get acting up. Listen,
come on, man.
Babe,
It ain't just as much.
It ain't just as much. I got this.
You know what I'm saying?
Because listen, here's the thing. And let's say I'm dating my favorite fighter, Amanda Nunes, right?
Okay.
And she got them things. She can throw them balls.
Right.
And I still. If she gets into it with this dude, he's 6'4", I don't want to have to look at my woman lumped up. And I know that she can handle herself. I know it, but I don't want to have to look at her later.
And fall on her, I mean, it's over.
Or listen, but even if listen, Amanda Nunes is going to drop this boy. She's going to drill this boy. But hold on, listen. But if he gets one off and he hits you, I got to look at that black eye for the next 2 weeks. I got it. It's good.
I'm just saying, women, you don't want, I don't think any woman's going to be like, it's going to be cool if something pop off, some guy start yelling at you guys when you're out, and then the dude be like, honey, you going to get that? I mean, most women, I don't think he's going to he's going to be with that.
Listen, I'm going to have a problem with that.
Right.
I'm going to be sitting next to dude like, dude, bro, what?
Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
All right, hold on, real quick, and I got to breeze through these. So Lydia says, there are definitely things I expect not to do, such as take the protection role. I'm not taking out garbage, walking out late at night, opening doors, lifting heavy shit, car shit a lot. I look fly and nice, and you better grab the door. Yes, if we're just walking out to the car, not always. If there was me and my man and a fight breaks out, I expect my man to jump in front of me and any other woman around and protect us. I'm not fighting no man. And Cedar says, not just as much, you are right, but women throw hands first nowadays. Yeah, you might get your guy killed by throwing the hands first too, Cedar. But I see where you're coming from, Cedar. I see where you're coming from. Let me get to all right, number 4 here in the traditional marriage role, the job selection. Non-traditional gender roles are when the women become engineers and men join the teaching profession, for instance. Sadly, women are still paid less than men for the same jobs, though, as per this article on the gender pay gap, which is something that they have there. So they're saying there's the job selection roles. I think we already kind of established women are working more now, so I don't think that one really matters. Now, behavioral norms, number 5. Traditional relationship roles also include behaviors. So many families assume that men are more intelligent and push their sons into further education. On the other hand, women learn that they should focus on finding a husband. So both male and female brains are, okay, this is that. They're going different ways. So they're saying the traditional way that people would look at it was the men were the ones that are handing out the life lessons, the big lessons and things like that, and women don't really focus on that type of thing, maybe just doing the nurturing, stuff like that. What do you think about that?
Do they know how many women CEOs there are?
Yeah.
This is going off of
the traditional
Right,
ones.
right.
They also
Right.
But
That's what I'm saying. That's
clearly changed.
That's clearly changed. That sounds real stupid. Like there's women that are leading whole corporations, countries. You know what I'm saying? Doing major things. Clearly getting higher education. I think I'm not 100% sure on the statistic, but I believe there's more women getting degrees now than men. So I'm gonna call BS on that one too.
Right. Well, those are definitely ones that have definitely changed. So number 6, nurture versus discipline. Traditional relationship rules state that women are the caring ones who show emotions. Women become the primary nurturer at home because men are the tough ones who do the discipline. Now, how do you think about that?
I'm a 100 again. Call BS. Single dad here. Dad has to play both roles. But yes, I'm gonna agree with it in the sense that I tend to be probably tougher than their moms are, right? But being in my situation, I have to play both nurture and discipline.
But I guess
in a two-role home,
in a two-role home.
normally, I think that's just normally. I think that's kind of almost in our DNA. That's kind of how you. In most homes, that's just normally how it goes. You know, the dad is the kind of the disciplinarian,
right,
where mom is just kind of a little softer.
So you're agreeing with that within the home, if they're
I'm not necessarily agreeing with it.
Maybe still be there.
No, I'm not. Nope, not at all. I'm not agreeing with it or saying that role should be there at all. I'm saying that you play the role that you fit in, right? Let's say mom is a CEO or a head of something, or she just works a lot more hours than dad. So dad is the one that's home. He can take over that nurturing role. Just again, depending on you fit the role that you fit in, right? You play the role you fit in. So I'm not saying that either or should be or shouldn't be. I don't agree with that at all. I think that you play the role that you fit in. I think that if mom is a little bit tougher and she can handle the discipline, again, we've seen that. You know what I'm saying? In the home, like in my home, my mom, as far as discipline goes, now my dad would discipline me, and when he would, his was worse.
Yeah.
But my mom tended to be the one that was more stern as far as the discipline goes. My dad was always, he's good, he'll get it, he'll handle it. Mom be like, nah, listen, he ain't handling it. Let me get on his behind. Right. So I call BS on that.
Well, so for me, I tend to agree with that one because I feel like at least in the type of home that I'm in and the type of relationship that I'm in, I like the fact that to me, you know, being the dad and playing that dad side, I think my wife is better suited for the nurturing and loving and all that stuff like that. And I try to do as much of it as I can, but I feel like I definitely need to be the one to come in and show an example of a sturdy male figure, and that's I like that a little bit better for my particular.
But here's the thing: I don't think that. Right, being the nurturer has to take away from you being a sturdy male figure. I think that being able to show emotion to our sons gives them an avenue to be stronger men later on in their life, right? So I don't. But again, in your house it's different,
right? In a two-person situation when there's one.
But I don't think that one has to. I don't think one has to take away from the other.
No,
you know what I'm saying? I don't think that. The dad being less of the disciplinarian and the mom being the disciplinarian means that the dad still doesn't have a strong, sturdy image, right? I don't think that one has to diminish the other. Right. I think that those roles can flip, and you can still be as strong as a father as a father like me and you who has to be the disciplinarian. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, what I'm saying though too is what I'm saying is in terms of just the role. Who's more designated for what role in the house? I feel like what I'm saying real quickly. I'm saying in that situation, I feel like it's better for me. For me, I just like the image of the male, me being the one to come in and give that solid male, you know, kind of behavior. That don't mean like I'm drill sergeant all the time, especially if my wife's not around. I'm rolling around with my little baby, my little guy. I'm rolling around with him, and I'm being daddy and cuddly and stuff like that too. I'm just not nowhere near as much as mom is. He's not gonna get that as much as he gets from mom. Mom's the one that's a little more like that, and I'm giving him that male stuff, and I'm being on him because I'm the one that's gonna show him what other men are gonna treat him like in the world in certain ways. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get him prepared for that. So while I'm not gonna not give him that, I just am not as much.
I understand. No, I understand 100%. I know what you're saying. Yeah. And again, so Jared's asked, so are you saying the the disciplinary role is a genderless role. So my thoughts on that is I think, based upon your household, based upon how, I don't think the disciplinarian role has to also be the role that shows him how to be a man, right? I think, like, again, if your wife or partner or significant other is tougher when it comes to discipline, and then you are tougher when it comes to other areas of being a man, then I think, that's just the role you play. Right. So yes, I'm gonna have to say, in a sense, yes, simply because as a single father, I have to play both roles, right? Again, but again, you have to speak on. We're not just talking about traditional couple home. You have to talk about all of it, right? So I think that even in a traditional couple role, right? Mm-hmm. So again, like I said, so like with my mom was the tougher one when it came to the discipline. My dad be like, "Oh, grounded for 2 weeks," but he'd let me off in 3 days. Mom would be like, "No, he needs to stay grounded." You know what I'm saying? You need to be on him. Yeah. Now, but was my dad very sturdy when it came to scheduling, when it came to how to take care of his woman, how to take care of the house, how to take care of the car? Those are all things that I learned from my father, right? But again, he also taught me how to cook. So again, I think the roles of how to handle things in the household can be flipped.
It can vary.
It can vary depending on your household, depending on what are the strengths of your partner. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me get some of these real quick. Lydia says, at the end of the day, it comes down to a conversation about what you expect and desire, and if you're willing to grow together. Chelsea says, I think women are still more inherently nurturing, and in my case, I love to be more nurturing. One, to caress, cuddle, and cater to my kids, and daddy is there to instill the respect and discipline. However, if I need to correct my kids, and I will, they need to respect me. Also, daddy makes sure that they know how they need to respect me too. Also, daddy is the one who taught our boys how to read and ride a bike, and etc. And if they fall down, he will hug them and wipe their tears and lift them up. So that's a good point. So let me look at a couple more of these real quick before we got to get out of here. Okay, so I'm going to skip number 8 because it's about children's toys, and that's more about the kids. Number 9 is housewife. It says the traditional gender roles in relationship means that women stay at home and look after the house. The word house husband isn't in everyday use, although the proportion of men who would take this role is perhaps increasing, as this study suggests. So what do you think about the house husband? Somebody staying at home while the wife is off at work. How do you feel about that new one?
If that's how you if that's the role you play in the house, me personally, again, like I said earlier, I'm a hustler, so I couldn't see myself, you know what I'm saying, just accepting the fact that my partner, one, I just don't want nobody to be able to say, hey, I have it all, or I got this, I got that. You know what I'm saying? And all you do is take care of the house. Even though that is a big role, I just couldn't see myself doing it at all.
Call me old-fashioned. There's no way. For me, as a male, the kind of man that I am, there's no way that I now, trust me, I've been in spots before where man, I was out of work. You know what I mean? And it was what it was. But I didn't like it. That wasn't my goal. And as soon as I could get a job, I got it right away because that's just, you know what I mean? For me, I feel like a man, the kind of the way I was raised, a man should be working. Yep. And so for that part, and that does not take away from the woman and what she does. And if she wants to work and go out, I feel like that should be possible too. But to me, I just feel like a man's supposed to be out working.
100%.
Let me look at some of these other ones before we get out of here. This is personality. Gender roles examples also cover personality traits. Some men are more confident and persuasive, but women are bossy and pushy. And that's what I think those are more like stereotypes when it comes to males and females.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree on that one. I know some slick talking women too. So you know what I'm saying?
Very persuasive women.
Man, listen.
Very persuasive. I feel like at the end of the day, and those were the 11 traits. We skipped a couple that weren't really pertinent to this. At the end of the day, your house, like we said, it varies, and the gender roles definitely. It's not the idea of the nuclear family back in the day that used to be, where the woman waiting at home for the husband, certainly does not apply anymore. Women have a lot more jobs and a lot more options to do things in the world and in the workplace. So I feel like that has clearly changed. And like you said, you had a different household where dad did some of the things that traditionally wasn't what dads were looked at as done, and vice versa with your moms and dads. So it definitely varies per household. And I think that the important thing is just to find and balance out with somebody who definitely shares those views with you. And I think that's the best way to go with that.
Yeah, I think it's the best way is to find somebody that you have a happy medium with. You know what I'm saying? Your role is whatever your role is, as long as it fits you and your partner. You know what I'm saying? You guys are good with it. You know, hey, I'm happy with it. Yeah. So, you know, I ain't here to judge nobody and how nobody else living. It's your life.
It is. You hear a lot of the conversations, and you know, we're gonna be going back and forth with some of these ladies because there's a lot of really extreme views on all of these sides.
Yeah, we definitely gonna dive into some more of the extreme
This
stuff.
is not the last time we're gonna be going through this subject, because the next time that we talk about this, we're gonna have a couple other people that are gonna have some other opinions on that, and we definitely want to get into those. Let me see a couple of things right here. Lydia says, I think it varies too with the different gender children, right? You know, because you might be a little more nurturing to your boy, and maybe or to your daughter, and maybe a little harder on your son, or vice versa, depending on who you are. Maybe the moms are different in that way too with their kids. So, and she said she has 3 boys at home. If I had 3 daughters, I think that she would be more of the disciplinarian in that one. So yeah, guys, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about the gender roles and how they've evolved over time and the way that people view them? What do we think about that? Do you think that they've changed for the better? Or do you think that maybe things should be more traditional in the way that they were looked at in the past? Whatever you think, let us know in the comment section below. We will get back to you guys. Keep the conversation and discussion going. Toomer, do you got anything to say before we get out of here?
Nah, peace, love, and blessings, man. Peace, love, and blessings. Have a great week.
Have a great week, you guys. We'll keep an eye on the news because some people
always something popping.
Some people might have them boys knocking at their door tomorrow morning. Might be a bad day for orange people tomorrow. Oh, you know, we'll see how that goes. Everybody, thank you for joining us. It's been Urban World Talk Live. We are going to be back next week. We're also up and running on our YouTube channel. Check us out there because we are going to get going on YouTube Live as of next week, along with Facebook Live. Guys, check us out. Share, like, comment on there. For Anthony Tuber, this is Terry Youngman. And until next time, peace out.